Hi, everybody. It's episode 441 of PodQuest.
Hey.
It's Tuesday, January 24th. Yeah, 2023. I am Chris. With me is Druten.
Hello.
And Walnut.
You didn't seem too sure right there. You want to double check?
I did double check. I looked down at the corner of my screen to make sure it said 24.
Okay. Just making sure you were sure.
So I knew it was Tuesday, but then I second guessed myself. I'm like, did I put the date based on today, or did I look at the calendar and mark it as tomorrow for Wednesday? So I didn't change the Wednesday to Tuesday. I just kept telling myself it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday.
Makes sense.
You know, sometimes, rarely. Anyway,
you got to track that cob logic. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not.
it's usually not. Let's be honest with ourselves.
True. That's totally true.
So before we get started, I want to tell you guys about this, even though I put it in Discord like last week. But I want it on recording now. So I went to a concert on Friday. It was a metalcore concert. So you know, lots of like metal dressed people in the audience.
Mm-hmm.
They played 4 songs, like just over like the house speakers while waiting for like the first band to come on. While like waiting, at least 4 songs from the time that we got there. Barbie Girl, Backstreet's Back. Yep. Sweet Caroline, and the Pokemon theme.
Okay.
And the Pokemon theme was the last song before the first band came on. I have a video, but it was too big to upload to Discord of the Pokemon one. When it finished, everyone cheered, even though like the lights hadn't dimmed or anything. Like there was nothing saying that was the song that was going to play before the first band started. It's just the Pokemon theme finished. Everyone was excited.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it just goes to show you, doesn't matter what the crowd is. Everyone loves the Pokemon theme.
Well, yeah, that's totally true. I totally missed your message.
It happens. You're bad at your own Discord. We get it.
Well, yeah, it's that, and Friday what did I do Friday? I don't even remember what I did Friday. It was mostly...
Slept?
No, we played Apex.
All right, you guys were doing that like private server, right?
Well, no. That was last Wednesday.
Oh, Jesus. I can't keep track of anything.
Friday was just me, Drew, and another streamer playing Apex, just playing for fun. And then, so yeah, I missed it because I was playing Apex, so I wasn't checking the server, and then I didn't look at pretty much any of the server most of Saturday.
That's fair. Yeah, I was sending that stuff like as it was happening, so it was like Friday, like 7-ish.
Yeah, that's why I didn't see
so if you were playing Apex, you wouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it just goes to show you, like, doesn't matter the crowd. Everyone likes old pop music.
Yeah, you're right. Or at least not necessarily likes, but will jam out to old pop music.
Yeah, dude, people were singing and dancing to fucking Barbie Girl and Backstreet Boys. And as expected, everyone only sang Sweet Caroline during the chorus because that's all anybody knows.
Yeah. And that's the only part that you sing during that.
Yeah, no, exactly.
There's other lyrics to that song? Like
there are, but nobody knows them. It's like, come on, Eileen. Nobody knows the lyrics.
Bullshit.
No, really, nobody knows the lyrics to that song. Man, there was something else I wanted to tell you guys. Or actually, not tell you, ask you. Fuck. Oh, right, it's fucking right in front of me. Rich, you have a Stadia controller, right?
I do.
Have you tried doing the Bluetooth update yet?
Not yet.
I cannot get it to work.
I'm assuming you have to plug it in and then get an update, right?
No. Kind of. A little, maybe. Somewhere in the middle?
Yeah, I don't know. I keep meaning to, because I'm rocking my classic for gaming on my PC. I'm rocking my day one Xbox One controller, and it uses a USB-C or micro USB. It's a micro USB, yeah. So it uses a micro USB and it keeps disconnecting. So I don't know if it's the wire or if it's the controller, because I can't connect it wirelessly because I don't have a dongle for it, and although it has Bluetooth, you need the dongle. It doesn't have Bluetooth that'll connect to my PC. So I keep meaning to try to connect my Stadia controller, but I just forget to.
Yeah,
and I've said it pretty much every stream since I know. I need to do that.
So I'm pretty sure the Stadia controller does work as a wired controller.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think if you just plug it in with a USB-C cable into your PC, you can just use it with Steam.
Yeah. Well, you can do the same with your PlayStation 5 controller.
That's true. That is true. But the Stadia controller feels nicer.
Yeah.
Like that, if they did nothing else right, they made a very nice controller. Like, this thing just fucking feels nice to hold.
They made a very nice free controller.
Only if you were lucky enough to grab that deal while it was available.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think they were like $50 or $60. But so, Rich, just so you kind of know what the process is and why I don't understand why it's not working for me. So you have to charge it long enough that like 30 minutes or so that it has enough of a battery charge that it can like kind of be on for a little bit. And then what you're supposed to do is you go to a web page. It's like stadia.google.com/controller or something like that. And then you plug the controller into your PC. The controller will automatically turn on. You follow these prompts on this website, which involves like having the browser recognize the controller first. Then you're supposed to unplug the controller, hold one button while also like plugging it back in so that it doesn't auto pair to your computer. And then on the next screen, you like hit 4 buttons at once, and it's supposed to, I'm doing air quotes, unlock your controller. And then on the last screen, you're supposed to be able to have your computer recognize it again as a non-Stadia, like as just like a generic USB controller. Mm-hmm. And at that point, it will install like the Bluetooth update. For whatever reason, I cannot get a computer to recognize my controller as unlocked. But if I like close out of the page and like go back to the beginning and do like that initial identify my controller as a Stadia controller, it comes up as the unlocked name that it's supposed to. And the website says, sorry, your controller is unlocked. You need to relock it and then go through these steps. Yeah. And like, I'm at a loss. I'm like, well, this is stupid because I would love to use this controller for just about anything. Not that like I would often, but like I said, it's a very nice controller.
Yeah.
But all that said, like when you have a chance, it really does. It takes less than 5 minutes to at least attempt it. Give it a shot and see if it works for you. I'll send you a link for the website.
Yeah, I gotta find my state.
I mean, that would help too. If by chance you have the same issue I did, if you get to the point where like it's quote unquote unlocked, but like the browser won't recognize it, unplug it again, hold the power button in for 12 seconds, let it go, and then hit the power button again like you're just turning it on, and it should turn back on. When it's unlocked, it's basically like a brick. Like it doesn't do anything or work for anything.
Okay.
It took me a few minutes to figure out how to like fix that so that like it would turn on and off again.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you well enough that like you would probably get frustrated thinking that you actually broke it.
I mean, if it doesn't work the first time, I'm just gonna say fuck it. I don't care.
And then just use it as a USB controller.
Like I think I paid $0 for this controller.
I definitely did because actually, you know what? I may have paid like $1 or whatever because it was like that deal where you got like the controller, like a month of Stadia Premium and the Chromecast Ultra, right?
Yeah.
So great deal.
Yeah,
great deal.
If it doesn't work, it will be just a paper. I don't care. I will keep this controller till the end of days just because I got basically.
Yeah, and again, like you play enough PC stuff at your PC. You could always just use it as a wired controller if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's the goal for sure.
Probably better input lag at that point anyway, depending on the games you're playing.
I mean, I haven't really noticed much, so I wouldn't even really be able to say.
Well, I mean, you're using a wired controller to begin with.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, like, if you're already using wired, like, the Stadia is just a nicer wired controller at that point. But, all that said, Rich, what is on the agenda?
So, on the agenda this week, Cobb, you're going to be talking about some Fire Emblem Engage, which I hear is pretty good. I'm going to be talking about the greatest game of all time to ever exist, Mega Man X7. Then we're going to have a discussion about that 90s show, which I have not had a chance to watch yet.
Yeah, wow. This is a very condensed week.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem Engage. It is so far not as good as Three Houses, but still actually pretty good. They're back to the... You guys have at least like a passing familiarity with Fire Emblem, right?
Yeah, I the only one I played was like a GameCube, one of the GameCube ones, like the first GameCube one or something. I don't even remember.
Drew, what about you?
I know of it. I've never actually played one.
You would, at least old school ones, Drew, you would probably like a lot. I don't know about the newer ones, but the old school ones, you would like them a lot.
You would not like Three Houses. I am confident to say that. You actually might enjoy Engage, just forgot the name of it there for a second. Engage kind of goes back more towards like the more classic ones. It brought back the rock, paper, scissors deal where it's like, what is it? Axe is better than lance. Lance is better than sword. Sword is better than axe. So like that's how you like try to pair up your things. But then they throw in the wild cards where bow and arrows are obviously ranged, so that whole thing gets thrown away. But the bow and arrows are stronger against horseback and flying. Yeah. Whereas like magic isn't as strong as arrows are against those for some reason. But it's much more of the like here's a strategic battle and less of the you have to go around and like court people and form relationships and pick a husband or wife. It's more just like like create bonds because you'll get stat increases, but it doesn't really seem to have any impact on the story. But you get all like your fancy classes and stuff like that, just like you would in like Final Fantasy Tactics, Drew.
Okay.
Yeah, like Richie's right. Like the older school ones, like pre-Awakening, so like that was 3DS, or this one, like you'd actually probably find enough of interest in there. Especially if knowing that you're just not super into story, you'd probably skim through the story because so far at least it's not bad, but it's also like it's nothing to write home about. Like Three Houses had a fantastic story. Like Final Fantasy Tactics has a fantastic story. This one just seems like a pretty average, like anime style story. Like you are some sort of like dragon royalty in a human body, that fell into a 1,000-year coma after being injured during a war. And now you're awake again and that war is restarting and you don't have any memories. So you gotta figure it all out. Part of the mechanics for this is you get these engage rings, not engagement rings. And these let you harness the power of basically Fire Emblem characters from previous games. So when you start the game, like you have a ring that contains the spirit of Marth. And when you when you fill up a gauge, you basically power up into Marth or into like a form that is more powerful. Like you're not actually Marth. You still look like your character, but I'm trying to think of like an analogy that fits with it. Kind of like Mega Man X, Rich, for you. Like you go from like wearing like the regular Mega Man suit to like wearing like one of X's cool armors, and you get like some new powers along with that.
I figured I knew what you were talking about before you even had to say it. I'm trying to think of a sports analogy, but I'm sure he understands what you're trying to say.
No, I'm sure he does too. It's like, it's one of those things where this particular thing happens in anime a lot, and I can't fucking think of a case for it.
It's like when Michael Jordan bought his second basketball team because they suck, he joined them again. That's what it is.
But yeah, so like you do that, and every one of the Engage characters has some sort of like specialty, whether it's, you know, swords or lances or magic, and you can pair them up with specific people. Not every character you get can actually even use one of them from what I'm getting. And there is a finite number of them in the game from what the game is telling me now, at least. I think I am still in the tutorial, but I'm like 5 or 6 hours in. So it's one of those, like, it's a little slow at the beginning, but I can tell that I'm about to hit that point where assuming it's like previous Fire Emblem games, they're going to kind of give me a map and be like, all right, cool, like, go sort of figure out what you want to do from here. Like, do you want to go, like, train? Do you want to go just do the next story mission? Do you want to do paralogs or go back and grind on some of these, like, other just random encounters to level up specific characters or specific abilities? Because just like any other tactics game, whether it's Fire Emblem, Final Fantasy, probably Tactics Ogre, you level up a character through, like, whatever class they are, and then at a certain point you'll hit a level cap, and you'll usually either be able to, like, have them, like, ascend to, like, a master class, or even potentially, if you just don't like the class they have to begin with, switch them to something entirely different. Like, if you just happen to have a lot of just soldier types where it's, like, just a lot of dudes with swords, and maybe you want, like, a new healer, you can find one that seems to have decent stats for that and potentially swap them to a healer, and then let them kind of follow that progression from there.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That was always one of the things I liked with those games. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so far it has been. All the characters that I've met so far seem fine. There are 2 characters that remind me of Oh god, I'm drawing a blank on their names. The twins from Final Fantasy IV, like Palom and Porom, I think their names were, or something like that.
Yeah, I vaguely.
They're the two little like mage brother and sister characters.
Mm-hmm.
Basically these are those two characters. They're just a little bit older, but one of them is a black mage equivalent, and the other one is a healer equivalent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I expect at some point they'll be turned to stone. Maybe. I don't know. You guys never played Final Fantasy IV, have you?
Nope.
like I said, I vaguely remember it. Like I did play it in the past.
Damn it, Drew.
Just
Go
don't
play more
have
Final
fun
Fantasy,
with it.
Drew.
I really want to play 5 because it has like the class system that Tactics has.
You know what? Nobody likes 5.
Well, people don't like jobs.
I do, but apparently 5 is not great.
I've
from what I've
actually heard 5 is really good. Like
Maybe I'm thinking of 2. I think it's 2 that no
is
one likes.
fucking terrible. 2 sucks shit. 2 is maybe the worst RPG I've ever played.
Because isn't 2 the one where you get stats based on like doing the thing? Like
Yep.
you use a sword, your sword level goes up. You get hit, your hit level or your HP goes up or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, that's like Skyrim, Elder Scrolls shit, right?
Sort of, but like Skyrim and Elder Scrolls also have like actual leveling up. Like and
Yeah, and
choices that
this
you
game
made,
doesn't.
And 2 fucking absolutely did not. But yeah, I need to play the SNES Final Fantasies are the only ones I like haven't touched.
Yeah, I mean 4 and 6 I think are like the two most well regarded of like the pre-PlayStation era.
Yeah, probably.
And I know everyone loves 6. I think 4 is better. I think I've never been able to finish 6 because I just kind of get bored of it after a while. But
Yeah, like I've played very little 6, but none of 4 or 5.
yeah, you should play 4. It's available everywhere. But
So is 5.
oh, that's true because they did release all of them finally on everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they should all be available everywhere.
Well, for a while there, it was only on Steam, if I'm remembering correctly. Those pixel remasters. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
They keep re-releasing those games, and then people get mad because they're not the version of them that they want.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which-
that's just nerds, though. Like,
But also, it's very like Japanese RPG company to be like, yeah, we're going to release this beloved game, but we're not going to release the version that people want to play. I'm specifically talking about Persona 3.
well, did they? Yeah, they released Persona 3 Portal recently, but not Persona 3 FES, which I'm sure is once.
Yeah, what people really want is some sort of like remaster where it combines like the stuff from both of them. Because like Portable apparently added some quality of life, but it removed like the overworld where like normally in those games you can actually like between dungeons you can like travel places.
Yeah.
Portable, it's just like you just menu. And it removed all of the animated cutscenes.
Oh, that's
So-
stupid.
Yeah, so they want the animated cutscenes back, and they want to be able to like move around the overworld.
Yeah.
But there are apparently some other quality of life updates that Portable made. I'm just not sure what they are.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as Fire Emblem goes, I am enjoying it so far. I'm looking forward to playing more of it. It's on Switch, so it's easy enough to just like hang out on the sofa and play it while watching TV or whatnot.
Yeah,
I
those
got
games are
lucky.
great.
I forgot it was coming out, and then I happened to get an email that I had like an expiring like certificate from Best Buy. So I'm just like, oh, and hey, look, Fire Emblem came out. I will go buy Fire Emblem with this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I forgot. I didn't realize it was out this early. I thought it was coming out later, but yeah, those games are great. It's on the list, same as everything on the list right now. There's too much on the list right now. Probably never gonna.
yeah, no, that sounds like you. Yeah. Plus, it's not on PC, and you only PC game now.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I played Pokemon.
That doesn't count.
It does though. It was a Switch game. I played
No,
Pokemon.
Drew, what do you think? He only plays PC games, right?
Yep.
Yeah. You're a PC gamer now, man. PC Master Race.
No, I am not like that. Trust me, I'm not. If I could have had all the bells and whistles while playing games on the Switch or PlayStation with natural streaming, I would have just done that and not bought PC. But I couldn't get all the bells and whistles, so I need PC.
What bells and whistles?
Like the notifications and things like that.
The notifications of yours that he ignores, Cobb.
No, of his that I don't get because he doesn't tell me. You have to let me know. Like, you have to put it in there, like, hey, I subscribed, and then it'll send a notification that you subscribed. Otherwise, I'm not going to get a notification that you subscribed.
You are legitimately the only person I've subscribed to that doesn't just automatically get them.
No, because you probably don't hit the button to send that it goes on there. I will get the subscription, but unless you're saying
Yes,
anonymous
I understand
subscribe,
that. I understand that. What I'm saying is you're the only streamer I've ever, like, given, like, the Prime thing to that, like, doesn't just automatically get them whether I say no, don't post it or not.
I don't know, man. Unless they're using a different thing, which I'm using Streamlabs, which everyone uses.
It might just be it might just be configured differently.
Fuck if I know. I mean, I won't, if you do not tell, like, that's the thing though. It won't even pop up in my report bar that you subscribe. It'll just show that I have a new subscriber somewhere. But it won't tell me who or what or when or how much or anything like that. Yeah, it'll just get my subscriber count will go from 10 to 11, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, I don't know how any of that stuff works myself, but I just think it's odd. Like, I threw my Prime at somebody that got laid off from Giant Bomb this past week. And like, I wasn't like sticking around on the stream. I saw they were streaming. And I'm just like, oh, like, here's my Prime sub. And I don't I purposely hit the X when it says, do you want to share this? And then like 30 seconds later, I saw the little thing pop up on the screen, like on their stream thing, that like I had just subscribed to them. And then they said, thank you.
I don't know. It doesn't tell me. You don't do it right.
You don't do it right.
I don't have anything set up differently.
Oh, you clearly do.
And look, to be honest, I've only ever joked about that. I actually do not care.
I have 10 subscribers, but I only get 2 notifications a month. I have 10 subscribers. I really do wonder
how it's set up for other people, or if they maybe they don't use Streamlabs for that particular thing because it isn't reliable.
I don't know. I mean, but that's the thing. If you're not going to let me know, if you're posting it anonymous subconsciously or not, or if you're not going to let me know and share it that you subscribed, it's not. But like, it's also, like I said, OBS itself is not even telling me that I got you as a subscriber. That's where it lies the issue.
Oh, does all that actually go through OBS? It's not just like something else?
So OBS has my chat overlay, my stream information, like how many people, how long, whatnot, and my stream notifications. Like, there's windows for each of those from OBS. That doesn't show up if I go onto Twitch itself and look through my notifications. It does not show. I have 10 subscribers, but I only get about two announcements a month because the rest of them are all auto subs and they don't come to my stream often enough. Thanks for the free money, but like, they don't let me know that they're resubscribing, so I can't thank them because I don't know who they are.
Yeah, that is weird. Like, I always thought that it was more I can't think of the word. Like, more, I guess,
automated? No,
not even automated, like more in your face with that stuff, I guess is the right way. Like, I assumed that like the actual like pops up on like the stream sort of ones that like I see a lot of streamers do. I assumed that was something you had to do specifically, but that like you would just get some sort of notification on your end, regardless when like you got either a sub or a follow or like any of that stuff. Like, I thought it was just like part of Twitch, not that like that particular thing was coming from like a third party app software integration.
No, I mean, even, let's see, if I click community, there's nowhere to even find, as far as I can tell, I can't even look up my subscriber list. I don't have a subscriber, like, here we go, nope, that's just for the tiers of subscriptions. Subscriber badges, yeah, it doesn't even tell me who is subscribed to my channel.
Huh.
It just tells me I have 10 subscribers.
I forget, and I forget, are you partner or affiliate?
Affiliate. At the moment, or at the time frame, at this time, probably never gonna reach friggin' partner. At least not for another 5 years.
Is, like, and you may not know it then, like, do any other analytics open up with that, or is it just the percentage you make off of your subscription?
It's just subscription percentage, it's just revenue percentage.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Which, I mean, after $100,000 doesn't fucking matter, and you go back to your affiliate percentage because Twitch is stupid, and that's why everyone's making the jump to YouTube.
Wait, really? So if you make too much money, they take more? I mean, obviously they take a larger percentage, but like you get a smaller percentage when you make too much.
So right now I'm 30 50% revenue share split. I'm 55% split right now. So I get 55% on revenue because I run 3 minutes of ad. I actually run 4 minutes of ads an hour. I run 2 minutes every 30 minutes. So I'm a 55% revenue. I believe partner goes up to 75% for their first $100,000 after they reach partner. Then after that, it goes back down to 50. That was something that they have done recently. Like I'd have to look it up again to relearn what it all was, but yeah, partner doesn't really do much for you, and it's a lot harder to reach partner. There's a streamer that I've followed for a while who gets anywhere between 50, I'd say anywhere between 50 and 120 viewers per stream. Whenever he's streaming, he does it a few days a week. He reaches all the parameters, minimum 50 viewers on average, and all of that. Reaches all the parameters. But because he changes games often, his viewership will fluctuate, and they won't give him partner. Because his viewership, it's not going under 50 average, which is what they need. But it fluctuates too much between 50 and 120 that they're not going to give him partner.
Which is the dumbest thing.
Yeah. But then again, he'd make a better revenue split for $100,000, which I'm not saying $100,000 is bad, but it doesn't make a difference after a certain point. Because
That's fair.
It then reverts back, and it's kind of pretty crappy.
Valid. But let's move along, Rich. How is the best of the Mega Man games, Mega Man X7?
Let me tell you. I got 5 words for you for this. Burn it to the ground. And I'm not talking about burn the game to the ground. I'm talking about one of the shoutouts that the enemy calls, or that one of the bosses does every time he does anything in a fight. Is burn it to the ground. And I'm not even talking about how this enemy does this every time he does anything for a fight. This enemy actually triplicates himself. He makes triple of him. There's 3 of him that run around, and they each all also say burn it to the ground every time they do pretty much anything. So there is a fight with this guy where all you hear is burn it to the ground, burn it to the ground. Oh my god, this fucking game, man. Like, who thought this game was a good idea?
Everybody but you.
No, you can't even joke with. So there are some neat concepts that they have behind this game. One of them being, you pick a team to go into each mission with. So you start off with just Zero and Axel. So you pick Zero and Axel, and you can actually swap back and forth between them.
Wait, you don't start with Mega Man?
No, you don't start with Mega Man in Mega Man X7.
This game is getting better and better by the minute, guys.
Hi, Chase. Chase got super excited because I was hitting my chair every time I said that. He's so, in the times, I don't know when, but like the story goes that X is tired of the fighting, and so he has become essentially a pacifist, and now is working the inner office and command centers of the Maverick Hunters, and he is no longer out on field. Even though he is the best Maverick Hunter, he was built to be the best Maverick Hunter. So yeah, the first 4 missions of the game, or at least in my experience, I don't know actually how long or how, what it was the deciding factor to bring X in. The first 4 missions of the game, you don't have X. There's just no X. Also, for the first 4 missions of the game, if you come across the capsule to upgrade X for his armor, you cannot get it because you need X to upgrade his capsule for the armor, meaning after the first 4 missions of the game, you then have to go back to whichever one of the missions have a capsule and get the capsule to get his armor. But this game made it to where you don't need specific abilities or parts or anything to get the capsules and such. Like, it's just all pretty much luck, or not luck, but skill of getting to these parts and knowing where they are. You don't need specific abilities like you did in the other X games. So, I found the capsule for the boots for X the first mission I played, but I couldn't get it because I didn't have X with me. Because you don't start with X in Mega Man X.
And then you got to do 3D platforming, right?
And then there was fucking 3D platform. So, the game, it does a combination of 2D or side-scroller and of 3D platforming, but it is primarily side-scroller. The only time that it was really noticeably bad with, the 3D side-scrolling, was the fight with, Flame Hyanar that I was talking to you about, Burn It to the Ground. as well as there was, I can't remember the boss's name, but it's like the air forces that you're going to attack after. And that one is you're moving like forward, so it's a top-down view and you're moving forward and you have to jump from plane to plane. Those are really the only two majorly like 3D platformy parts that like were a pain in the ass. But the reason is the physics are bad. So when you're jumping from platform to platform, usually it's fine. But if that thing moves, you have to stand completely still or you're just gonna get thrown off. Because if the thing is moving to the left and you move to the right, your one little step will take you to the very end. Because you're countering it's just bad. One of the heart containers was on a thing that blows up. It took me probably 20 tries to get this heart container. Because I couldn't get the exact proper spot to stand because it was a moving platform and the physics were all wonky. And like it wouldn't work properly. And this was on the Air Forces level, which after you died, every time you died, instead of it just loading you back at the beginning of the mission, it would load you onto the little scene where the plane is flying you to the other planes. And so you have to sit there for 30 seconds while the plane is flying you to the other planes, and then it loads to the beginning of the level where the plane gets to its position, and then you can jump off it.
Well, man, this was a PlayStation 2 game. There were some fucking load times.
But no, because when you die at any other level, it's near instantaneous. You go back to the beginning of the level. It was just this one time because the intro of the level was you riding on this plane. When you died, it brought you to the beginning of the level, which was you riding on the plane first for 30 seconds.
Are you riding on the plane like Sonic in Sonic 2 when Tails is taking him up to the fucking sky thing?
Ooh,
yeah, basically, you're standing on top of the plane and the plane's heading towards, like, the thing. But it's like, all it is scene of whoever your lead character is, standing on the plane. That's it. It's not really moving, it's just kind of like you see the wind blowing, but everything else is very stationary.
But is it a biplane?
No, it's not a prop plane or anything like that. It's just a friggin' futuristic fucking plane.
Man, it's not as cool if it's not a biplane.
But now it's like Vamp from Metal Gear Solid 2. Or no, sorry, Vamp was flying the plane that had the president on it.
Was that president also Liquid Snake?
Yes.
Okay.
Or no, it was Solidus Snake.
Right, because Liquid takes over Ocelot, right?
Yeah.
Right. Man, Metal Gear, guys.
Metal Gear, man. I want to play through those again.
Is that coming after Mega Man?
I don't know if I have any way of being able to play them right now. I'd have to go through and find them. Not. I don't. Mostly, I don't personally own them at the moment, so I don't know, and I haven't looked into it. But I do want to play them.
I own every Metal Gear. If you want to borrow them to play them,
I did at one point own Twin Snakes, which was the GameCube version of Metal Gear 1. But I remember I let Drew, I let your brother borrow it because at the time his girlfriend had a GameCube, and I don't know if I ever got it back from him. I'm not sure though.
I don't think there's a good way for you to play on stream 1 through 3 unless you have a working backwards compatible PS3.
Well, they did the HD remasters of 2 and 3.
Is that available somewhere?
PS3.
Okay.
And they might be on Steam, honestly.
I didn't think any of them were on Steam, but I could be wrong.
I don't know. I haven't looked into them. It's one of the things, I've never played, I don't think I ever beat 1, or 2, or 3, but I know I beat 4, and I played, Rising, because that game was great.
So what I'm hearing is you do need to do a Metal Gear Solid playthrough. Maybe all of them. Maybe you should also play Metal Gear, Metal Gear 2, but both versions, the NES version and the MSX version. And then maybe Metal Gear, whichever one was on the Game Boy Advance.
Oh, what was the name of that game? And I think it's actually Game Boy Color, even.
It might be, you're right.
I'm trying to remember from Dan playing it on Giant Bomb.
Anyway, back to Mega Man X. The game that was probably more of a clusterfuck than any Metal Gear game. Mega Man X7, that is. I'm trying to think. There was another thing that I thought was a neat idea, a neat concept. I can't remember what it was. But like just the whole idea of being able to jump back and forth between the characters, the fact that they limited you only to 2 and not to 3. Also the fact that the game started making it so that you could play as X without the armor as a playable character, it was just like, that's a waste of time. You know I'm going to use the armor. Don't do that. You want to know the thing I think was the worst part about this game. And this might not be a big deal for you guys. And this really wasn't the worst part about it. But it's one of the worst parts about it for me. You know when you play a game and they ask you, are you sure you want to do this? So like, hey, what do you want to do? I want to go save. Are you sure you want to save? Right? Mm-hmm. The game defaults to no.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's fair to be kind of annoyed by that.
So then you go save. And A, the button you're hitting is the default no, you don't want to save in that slot. You have to hit B to save or something like that. I don't know. But after you're done saving, it doesn't just bring you back to the stage select or anything. You save, and then it asks you, do you want to save? And you have to exit out the save screen. And it brings you back to the results screen, and not to the stage select screen, to where you can choose to exit to save or to go to stage select. And then you hit stage select. Are you sure you want to go to stage select? No! I hate it. I hated it.
Did you even finish it?
I did. I did beat the game.
I thought you rage quit it because of the comment you made on Discord.
No, I rage quit X6.
Oh, is the clip that somebody posted from X6 not from X7?
That's from 6.
Oh.
Yeah, I did. I played 7 earlier than I would have played it on Monday. I played it on Sunday this week.
I thought that video was posted on Monday.
No, that video was posted last Monday.
Oh, I just didn't see it then.
Yeah. No, that X6 is terrible. I rage quit X6. We talked about it last week. It's fucking the worst game. Like, literally, this game is slightly better than that, just on a difficulty standard. Playability, fun, everything else is all garbage. But on a difficulty level, this game isn't that hard. It's just frustrating and bad. So, like, this is the only reason, if I were to be asked if I had which one I would play again, it would be 7 over 6. Because I couldn't beat 6. The bosses, the abilities, and everything all sucked. And same with 7. The abilities, the bosses, they all sucked. Half the time, the enemies' weaknesses would barely do any damage to them, and you would run out of energy, to the point where you needed, when you choose your team, you needed to have Zero on your team, because he has unlimited uses of his abilities. Otherwise, like, there's no point in the weaknesses. All the enemies have, like, a reactionary noise to their weakness that's annoying as hell, but it really deals no damage. It's easier, and it might be faster to beat the game by just using Zero and whacking everything with just your normal sword combo. Because, like, the weaknesses suck. One of the bosses, I can't remember his name, but he was in the tower level, and we'll get to the tower level in a second, too. But he was in the tower level. His weakness is a counter that you get. It's like a shield, a Gaia shield is what it's called, or something like that. For Zero, or for X and Axel, you just shoot the shield in front of you and it reflects things. But for Zero, you hold the attack button and it'll do a guard stance. That only works for half the fight. The other half of the fight, it doesn't even do anything on it. So then the rest of the fight, you're like jumping and dodging and actually trying to swat at him. So it's like the first half of the fight you use as Zero. The second half of the fight you use it as Axel or X.
So next year, for October, your horror theme, 31 Days of Mega Man X6.
No. No. That's not horror. That's just hard.
No, it's psychological horror.
Yeah, no, you don't want me to do.
I mean, look, you will have the shortest month of streams because you'll rage quit every day within 30 minutes. So, like, it'll be like a break compared to this year.
But then, what am I trying to think? Oh, so the game is, like, generally 2.5D, I guess you could say. Well, it's 3D. Like, it's generally when you're playing, you're either side-scrolling, and it's, like, all one dimension. It's all left and right. Or two-dimension, I guess. And then sometimes the camera will change, and you can, like, run around, but you can't really move the camera around, so it becomes more like a brawler type of style. So, like, it's a side-scroller, but you can have all X and Y to move on the platform instead of just Y. But then you have levels like the tower, which basically, and I know this probably, who knows, this probably isn't how they designed it. It might be. It looks like as you move, the level circles around instead of you going up the level. The camera is stationary. Your character is generally in the middle of the screen unless they reach the very far edge of the map, but generally they're in the direct middle. And as you run, you go up this tower. But you only shoot in a Y-axis. It doesn't circle around the tower. So if you have enemies in front of you too far ahead of you and you're shooting straight, it's not going to reach those enemies. And they're not going to aim at those enemies because they're not in the same plane as Mega Man. Because yeah, if you're not in the same general plane of Y-axis as an enemy, Axel and X aren't going to aim at them.
That sounds exciting. That sounds like a really good game.
Doesn't it?
There was a portion of the map that these blocks appear and disappear. And you had to jump to the blocks and shoot or jump to the blocks and stop enemies from getting to you. But because it was a circular map build out, if you were to jump to the block, like, you wouldn't be able to shoot the enemies that are on the edge that you can fucking see. You can't aim at them, you can't tell them to shoot it. You'd have to actually get to the furthest block, and if you're mid-jump, or you're gliding, or you're dashing, or whatever in your jump, and you get hurt, you just drop. You don't, like, keep your momentum forward or anything, you just drop. So that took me, like, fucking 20 minutes. Because luckily in this stage, if you drop, you don't drop to your death, you just drop to the floor below you, and then you have to make your way back up. It was fucking terrible, man. It was like the second level I did. And it's just like, yeah, it got worse from there. Flame Hyenard, his boss area, he is standing on top of like a horse, basically, a giant horse. And you're in this center platform. You have to run and shoot this giant horse in the legs to make it stop and lower down so that you can jump on top of this horse. Not too bad. But he also calls out 2 clones that come out and attack you while you're trying to do this. And no, they're not clones in the nature of, like, most games where you do 1 or 2 hits of damage, they disappear. No, they have full-on fucking health bars. They have full-on, like, they have their own health bars that I have no idea how much damage it can actually take. But then once you get onto this horse that circles around the stage platform that you're on, like I said, the physics are bad. If you're standing on the center platform, or the center of the platform on the back of this horse, and he's walking forward, guess where you're going? Backwards. Towards his ass. Because you don't have the same momentum as the horse you're fucking standing on.
Well, look, robots don't ride horses.
This horse was huge. It was huge. Like, you don't have the same momentum as a moving fucking platform. And so when you do the boss rush, guess what? That horse comes back. So, like, the boss rush wasn't just, like, specific level. It was just reloading you back into the boss level. It wasn't, like, a new made level or anything with the boss. No, it was just reloading you back to the original load that you had to fight the boss. And it's just, oh, man. Oh, the other good thing, and as far as I can remember, no other X game has done this. Your health actually, your carryover health goes into your energy tank. So if you have 1 pixel of damage on you and you pick up a large health bar, it'll heal that 1 pixel and the rest will go into your energy tanks.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
In all other X games, it wouldn't. So that was like really the only good thing, because during the boss rush, you could grab the large health thing and it would always heal you to max, and then 1.5 energy tanks, and you have 2 energy tanks. So you should always at least use the half energy tank. But it won't heal your other character, because they do have separate health bars. So, like, you want to kind of manage and make sure they both get healed, or both at max health and whatnot. It was a neat like mechanic that they added. Just doesn't really make up for the rest of the game. Most of the abilities take too much of the energy bar to really be able to use them properly. Your secondary character has, as far as I can tell, I don't know, maybe it's because I only unlocked him halfway through the game, so he didn't have as much fucking abilities as everyone else, or health and energy power, but X had half as much health and half as much energy as Zero did, so one of the attacks that he gets, you can use once, and that's it. Then you have to use the energy tank, the weapon tank, to fill that up, to use it one more time.
Man, this game is up there.
Oh, man.
Best game ever.
The Sigma, the final Sigma, luckily, this time, if you beat Sigma, Phase 1, you don't have to fight him again if you die in Phase 2. Thank God, because Sigma Phase 1 wasn't hard, but it was stupid. Because it's fucking Mega Man X7, it's all stupid. But fighting Sigma Phase 2, it took me a couple of tries to figure it out. I had to read a guide because it's so dumb. Because it's like a 3D plane, essentially. Where, like, it's a circular plane again. Kind of like the tower. Where if you go to the left, the rocks you jump on go higher in elevation. And if you go to the right, the rocks you jump on go lower in elevation. You have to avoid attacks and then hit him as often as you can. But, like, the best way to hit him, really, is he has this one attack where he shoots red orbs at you, and Zero is Link now, and or is a Jedi, essentially, and can hit attacks back at enemies. And so the best way to deal damage to him is to hit those attacks back at him.
So you just have one more left, I think, right?
Yep. X8, and I just remembered about, and I completely forgot about it until it was brought to my attention, there is a Mega Man X RPG that came out on a GameCube called Mega Man X Command Mission, which stars Zero.
I remember that.
It stars Zero, Axel, and X are your 3 playable characters. I remember it not being bad. Like, I remember enjoying it. I had it. I don't know if I have it still, but I remember having it. So I might have to go looking for it and seeing if I can somehow hook up my Wii to my capture card to try to play it.
Well, your Wii doesn't have HDMI, so you're going to have to buy some adapters.
Yeah, but we'll have to figure it out. But, like, I might play that, but,
look,
I mean,
if you own the game, if you have a physical copy of it, it is, in my opinion, completely valid for you to emulate it for your stream.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I used to own a copy of it. I don't know if I do anymore.
You also, like, I am also of the mind that if the game is not available for purchase in any, like, way that actually, like, is above board, you're also fine to emulate it.
Yeah, absolutely. But Twitch doesn't, as long as Twitch doesn't find out I'm emulating something, it's fine.
They have no way to know.
People emulate fucking everything on Twitch, dude.
They do, but Twitch doesn't want you using emulators.
Yeah, but they have no way to know.
True, and the fact that some people who play, like, Pokemon Venom or whatever, like these like, Pokemon mods, like, aren't
anyone that's playing randomizers, anyone that's playing literally like ROM hacks from Mario. They're fucking ROMs. Mm-hmm. Like you'll be fine, I promise.
Trust me, I know, but I'll have to look for it. But I am at the moment considering just playing Mega Man X8 tomorrow just to get it done with, and it's not that like. I'm not.
You're just I want to be done.
Oh, I kind of, yeah. Like, these last 2, like, when I did the Mega Man Marathon, the wall was like Mega Man X5. I think was 4 or 5 was like what I considered them. But then, like, that was when I was coming up to nostalgia of Mega Man X6. Or not X6, Mega Man 8, Mega Man 9, Mega Man 8 and 9, where, like, I had those when they came out, and that's where a lot of nostalgia was coming back to me, and I remembered 9 and 10 were really good, so, like, I was, like, looking forward to those, so, like, I hit my wall, and I was like, I can still do this weekly, because I'm looking forward to them. I also did take a week off here or there of the Mega Man Marathon, but this one, like, the last 2 were just so bad or frustrating, that I'm just like, I kind of want to finish this. I just want to get it done, because I don't think X8 is going to really be much better than X5. Or, honestly, in my opinion, I don't think X8 is going to be much better than X2 or 1 or 2. Like, I don't think it's going to be much better than any of those. X5 was, like, the best of these games. It was amazing. And, like, nothing can really hold up to that. And so I'm just like, God, I just want to get it done. So I might do X8 tomorrow, just get it over with, and then not have to do Mega Man for a while. So even if I decide to do a command mission, it's gonna be down the line, because I wanna get through Sifu as well. I want to play Jedi Lost Order. I want to play Tales of Arise. There's a bunch of other games I want to play that I don't want to take time in between to play other games, like an X game or something.
Well, I did just find a ROM for you.
Nice.
It took all of 30 seconds. It's a legitimate one too, and it looks like command mission. Yeah, I do remember this game. Looking at the cover art for it now. It's about 20 hours, so it is definitely like a little bit more of a commitment than all the other ones are.
Yeah, it is a longer game, but I remember enjoying it. I'm not going to say it was great. I'm not going to say it's amazing, but I remember it being decent. Like, I remember it being good. And it's like an RPG, it's a different style. And that's like the other part of like where the Mega Man games and the Mega Man X games like kind of differs. Like Mega Man 1 through 4, I would say, were all pretty much the same. And then like 5 and 6 were when they were 5, 6, and 7. No, it was really Mega Man 1 through 6 were all 1 through 5. No, 1 through 6 were all NES. 7 was SNES. 8 was PlayStation. And then 9, 10 were GameCube, but the old school style. And then 11 was New Age. Or not GameCube, they were Wii, I believe. Or Wii U, but yeah, it's like they're I'm reaching my wall with X with these past 2 games. They were just so that bad that like I'm just like I want these done. And so if I'm going to continue Mega Man X after 8, it's not going to be for a while, which was planned with the 0 and ZX.
For what it's worth, X8 seems to be a lot more well regarded.
Yeah, that's what I've seen. Like, it's not the atrocity that X7 was. It's not the difficulty level that X6 was, or probably confusion level of X6. So like it is a better game than these last 2, but it's like it's hard to play. It's hard after beating 5, man. It's just like that game was, in my opinion, X5 was the best Mega Man game ever made. It is the epitome of the best Mega Man game ever made. And so, like, to go from that to what these were, it's just, it really, really dulls your experience in a way.
Which that is a bummer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I think I told you guys, Mega Man X5 was supposed to be the last X game.
I do remember you saying something about that.
Yeah. It was supposed to be the very last X game, like, and then they decided they wanted to make money, more money, because the X5 did really well. And so they made X6. And then for some reason decided to make X7. I still don't understand. But all I gotta tell you guys, when it comes to X7, burn it to the ground.
Oh, it's not that bad.
No, I'm quoting an enemy, like I said. Just burn it to the ground. I mean, maybe, like, here, I'll give you a clean burn it to the ground, and you have to play that 3 times at the same time. Alright, Cobb? Burn it to the ground. There, now you just gotta triple that all at the same time, play it all at once.
Oh, I thought you were gonna why don't you just say it 3 times for me instead?
No, because it all has to be the exact same, like, everything. Like, it's, because there's no inflection to it, there's no difference to it. It's all the same recording, so you need to get the same one, and you need to play it kind of at the same time. Maybe have, like, a quarter-second delay on each one. I don't really know how long Burn It to the Ground took me to say. But, like, maybe have, like, a small delay between each one so that there is that echo going on. And then do that, like, 50 times in a row. Alright? You should be able to do this. No problem. It's pretty easy.
No, that's a lot of work. I'm decidedly probably not going to do that.
It's just copy that, make a new track 2 more times, and then cut all that, and add it to everything else, like, 20 more times. It's not that much work.
No, that's more work than I'm going to do. We all know this.
I know. I'm just saying it's not that much work, which is, yeah, I know.
Like, it's a lot of work.
But, like, if you want the full effect, I was actually going, this is the first game in a long time that I played that gave me a physical headache. Like, my ears were bleeding and my head hurt.
Yeah, that's no good.
But
that is no good at all.
I was going to say, speaking of no good, how's that 90s show? But I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know.
So, it's totally fine.
Speaking of no good, how's the 90s show?
It is a perfectly fine show. So, I never watched all of that 70s show.
Yeah, it's fine. You didn't really miss much.
Whoops. Drop things. Like, I watched enough of it, like, I knew the characters, I knew the concept, all that fun stuff. Just decided to watch this one with Erica, and it was fine. It was kind of like along the same lines, in my opinion, as like the Fuller House. Like, it wasn't particularly good, but it also wasn't offensively bad. Though I guess at times Fuller House, offensively bad. But it was nostalgic, so you just kind of kept with it. But like this one, like the whole premise is it's Eric and I always forget Donna's daughter staying with her grandparents for the summer and becoming friends with like all the other neighborhood kids. One of them being Kelso and Jackie's son. He is the only one that has any relation to any of the previous casts.
You might not know. Is it Kelso's son, or is it Kelso and Jackie's son?
It's Kelso and Jackie's son. They do not mention Kelso's daughter at all.
Daughter. Okay. Yeah, because at the end of the series, he had a daughter. So I was wondering, like, is she in it?
No. So she's not mentioned at all. They make no real reference to Eric's sister either. Because that actress died a handful of years ago too.
They wrote her out even before then, though. They wrote her out of the series because they had 2 actresses for Eric's sister.
Oh, I didn't know that. I just knew like the one had died like a while ago.
I can't remember how it was. Like, she was there. I think it was one of them was there for like maybe the first and second season, and then they wrote there was a new actress for her, and then they eventually just wrote her out and stopped mentioning her. Like, she was a nothing burger character. Yeah.
So like the kind of like what they did with the little sister in Boy Meets World.
Yeah,
like she disappeared for a season, then came back as a completely different child.
Yeah, and then didn't they make reference to that in Girl Meets World or something like that at one point?
I mean, they make reference to it in Boy Meets World. When she comes down and she's like, I feel like I was in my room for like I feel like I was like in like grounded in my room forever. I feel like a totally different person now. Mm-hmm. Shows always do that stupid thing, like make reference to like like recastings like that. But like the show was fine. Like it was very like 90s nostalgic too, because it was supposed to be 1995. So like a lot of 90s music getting played in there.
So how do they say how old the lead character is?
So this is where I have a problem with this show. The ages don't match up at all. So the main character, Eric and Donna's daughter, is supposed to be 15.
That would mean that they had her immediately after the series.
Exactly. Because the show ends as it turns to 1980.
It's December 31st, 1970.
Yeah. But not only that, but the Jackie and Kelso's kid is a year older, or at least is alluded to be at least a year older because he is not in the same grade. So, a new family lives in Donna's old house. Mm-hmm. And it's a half brother and half sister and their mom. And the sister is younger and is the same age as Eric's daughter. And the brother is older. Okay. It's alluded to that he's at least like a grade higher. And he is best friends with Kelso's kid. So like it only makes sense that they are in the same grade, and and Kelso's kid can drive. So like all that lines up to him being at least a year older, which means he would have had to have been born in 79.
Yeah, which is when Jackie and Fez were dating.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure the series ended with Jackie and Fez dating.
I believe it did too, and there is apparently a reference in the show to them being together by Fez, and then they show up together getting remarried. Apparently they have been married 3 times to each other.
Yeah.
Because that's actually their little, like, everyone but Danny Masterson, for obvious reasons, makes a little cameo. Donna is in it the most. I think she shows up in like 3 or 4 episodes. But Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis pop up for like a quick scene where like I think they're like dropping off their son at the house, and they come in to like basically Ashton Kutcher comes in to like fuck with Red. And you find out that they're on their way to City Hall to get married for a 3rd time.
Yeah.
And she makes a reference like, and this time it's going to stick.
Yeah. I've seen that clip.
Yeah, and Fez is like a local celebrity hairstylist who is sleeping with the mom next door.
Okay.
So he pops up, he probably pops up the second most. And then Mr. and Mrs. Foreman are in it the whole time. Donna's dad pops up at one point. Tommy Chong is in it a couple of times. So like they bring back the fucking Dean from Community, who was in a handful of episodes of the original, is in it once or twice.
So
I had to look it up afterwards. He was in like 6 episodes spread across multiple seasons, so he was not in it much.
And he probably wasn't the same character.
No, he was the same character in each of his appearances, and he was that same character in this one too.
Okay. So did they at all mention or acknowledge why Hyde isn't around?
Nope. His name does not come up once.
I really feel like I mean, just because Danny Masterson sucks, but the character was kind of iconic in a sense. They should have at least given a thrown away, like, oh yeah, he's in jail or some shit like that. Because, I mean, you expect that from Hyde to be in jail.
And I mean, like, Danny Masterson, I think, might be in jail.
I'm pretty sure he is in jail.
But
I guess maybe they also want to avoid the whole Michelle scenario where, like, they kept throwing nods as to, like, oh, she's not coming kind of shit on Fuller House.
Yeah, you're probably right. But yeah, it's 10 episodes. It spans like basically the whole summer. Mm-hmm. It's also like it took me like it did not dawn on me right away, but they did name the daughter Leia, and at the beginning, like Eric is really excited because they're going to father-daughter space camp, and she does not want to go, and then hits it off with the neighbor girl, and basically decides that she's going to spend the summer with her grandparents, to which her grandmother, very excited, her grandfather is red.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
But like it basically in that first episode, they just set up the show to be exactly what the first one was. The kids find, and like, this is also another minor problem. Like, those kids find like 1979 pot in like an old board game in the first episode. Mm-hmm. And then like, they just have this like paper bag of 15 to 20-year-old pot that they're smoking throughout the whole rest of the season.
I mean, it could be less than 15 years old.
Well, like, don't Donna and Eric like leave at the end of the original?
Eric comes home at the end of the Eric was in Africa for the whole last season. And
last two seasons, wasn't it? Didn't he leave for the last two?
Season and a half, something like that. Not like it was at least a season. I know that much. I don't know like the actual.
Well, because they basically did the Power Rangers thing where he leaves, a new person comes in with blonde hair, and then dates Donna for the season, just like when Kimberly left and they brought in a new blonde Pink Ranger who then dates Tommy.
Yeah, and they only dated Donna and I feel like I should know a name, but I can't remember his name. Donna and the new guy only dated for honestly only a few episodes before they were just like, before she was just like, yeah, I still love Eric. And then Eric comes home on, like, him and Donna are the last two you see as the screen fades to black, and then you see that the license plate says 19.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, like, it hit a lot of good points for a show like this that is supposed to be like a sequel to a show like that. Mm-hmm. Like, it felt like the 90s in a lot of ways, but it felt like a Hollywood 90s.
Yeah. Like,
if that makes any sort of sense. But like, you know, you saw all the like main points of the original series too. Like, they go to the water tower at one point. They're, you know, a lot of the show's in the basement or in the driveway. Like, you're in the kitchen probably second most of those two. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it was funny enough. And like, none of the kids were especially good and they didn't have a ton of chemistry, but, you know, there have been far worse child actors. And I think if this show got another season, I feel like they might like start meshing a little bit better. Mm-hmm. So I think judging by the way a lot of them look, like, I think they might actually be teenagers and not like 19, 20-year-olds playing 14, 15-year-olds.
Yeah.
And yes, like I said, everyone except for Danny Masterson made like a cameo, which was cool. So yeah, it's 10 episodes. They're like 20 minutes apiece. Like, it's worth checking out on Netflix if like you liked the original.
So what I can see, that weed that they smoked, or that stash that they had, because I never actually called it weed in that 70s show, loses, according to Healthline, because I looked up how long until weed goes bad, loses 41% THC after about 4 years. So, I would say if it's anything older than 5 years, they wouldn't have gotten high off that shit. Absolutely.
Yeah. And like, you figure if she is 15, they probably were not living there almost immediately after the show ended. Like, basically, like, they packed their bags, moved out, and had a baby, like, within minutes.
Yeah, and that's within minutes, for sure, because there's the
actually, no, Donna would have had to been pregnant before that. No, because she turns 15 during the season.
Yeah, okay, so if she turns 15, like, at the beginning of the season or during the summer, then yeah, she, like, Otherwise, like, they would have had to conceive her on January 1st, and that would have been a September baby.
Yeah, like, unless they just got the age wrong and she was supposed to be turning 16. But, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure she turned 15 in, like, let's say August, which means, like, she would have had to have been conceived in, like, November.
Yeah. It's not done. It's not Eric's kid.
It's the other guy.
It's the other guy's kid. We figured it out. That 90s show is all lies.
That's going to be the big dramatic point for the second season if they get one.
That'll be that Audie's show is when you find out that she was actually somebody else's kid, and then she tries to create a relationship with him as
Could
she's
be.
like 20-something, 25.
Well, I'm curious if they will try and if like this show works, if they'll try and do that again, because they did that with the 70s show. Like, it was really popular, so in the middle of its run, they tried to do the 80s show.
Yeah, well, not in the middle of it was nearing the end of its run.
No, it was 2002.
Was it really midway through the run?
Yeah, it was literally the middle of the run.
But, like, yeah, they tried to follow, like, obviously it was a different cast, and, like, the only connection was, like, that was supposed to be, like, Eric's cousin or some shit like that.
But I'm pretty sure that, like, they were also all adults, like, young adults, but, like...
Yeah.
Like, out on their own with jobs and all, which I think part of the reason that 70s show worked and why this one works as well as it does is because it's, like, teenagers.
Yeah.
So, like, them hanging out and getting high and doing stupid stuff makes a little bit more sense than, 20-somethings doing that while also trying to, like, live their lives. But, I mean, hey, that 80s show had Glenn Howerton before Always Sunny. And the sister from Supergirl, whose name I can never remember.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, it's a fine show. We are also further away from 1995 than that 70s show was when it started.
Damn.
Why did you have to ruin a perfectly nice day?
It really wasn't a nice day. It was chilly. There wasn't a lot of sun.
I was in my house all day, so I don't really know if there wasn't really a lot of sun, but it was actually not that bad. I opened the door a few times, and I felt perfectly fine and comfortable, and I could see the sun, and it was a fine day. I wasn't saying it was a good day, just a perfectly fine day. And you just had to go sit there and ruin it by saying we're old. Yeah,
man. We're 28 years removed from 1995. That 70s show was only 22 years removed from 1976, which is when that 70s show started.
But also, here's the thing about that 70s show. It had, 8 seasons?
8 seasons over 4 years.
8 seasons over the course of 4 years with 8 Christmases.
Did they really have a Christmas every year?
I think so.
Well, it's like, what was that, there was that it was UPN still at the time, the basketball show about the brothers that hated each other.
No idea.
Basketball show brothers that hated each other?
Yeah, I don't remember what it was called, but I know that show, like, it was on for like 12 years and they were in high school for all 12 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was one of those shows like Supernatural that, like, started when it was, still the WB and, like, lasted until it became the CW. But yeah, that 90s show, not a bad show. And it's short, so if you have nothing else to watch and you're looking for just like those like short like comedy things, it's worth checking out. I lost the outline. There's the outline. But I think that's probably it for this week, unless you guys have anything else you want to talk about.
My bad, I lied. That 70s show only had 5 Christmas episodes.
You know what? That's okay then. They just celebrated one extra Christmas.
Was it like a flashback to a prior Christmas? That'd have been fun.
I don't know. As far as I know, no. I Googled it real quick. I was like, how many episodes were there? I gotta double check. There was a show.
That's very cool, though.
There was a show, I can't remember what it was, that actually did, like, track timing. And, like, it was like, they did end up having a Christmas every year, even though, like, it wasn't a yearly show. Or, like, it was, like,
Doctor
only
Who?
in a certain time frame. Not Doctor Who. I can't remember. It's been a long time. But, like, there was a show that did that had a Christmas special every year, but it was only supposed to be over the course of several years. Of, like, say, like, over the course, say it was, like, 5 seasons, it was only supposed to be, like, 2.5, 3 years. They had a Christmas episode every year. I can't remember what show it was. Oh! Duh, it's the fucking Goldbergs.
Do they have a Christmas show every year?
They have Christmas or Hanukkah every year, or Thanksgiving every year. And it's midway through 1987, 1980-something. That's what all they say, 1980-something.
Yeah, and isn't that show on, like, season 12?
It is, let me double check my Hulu real quick, because a new episode should be up soon. It might air tomorrow or today.
Season 10. It's on season 10.
Yeah, it's season 10. Some of the kids that were upperclassmen in high school when Adam was still in elementary school graduated with Adam when he graduated high school. They have a Christmas or a Hanukkah because they're Jewish, so it's like, I guess, generally more Hanukkah every year, or they make mention of Christmas every season. Yeah, it's one of the weirdest things, because it's like, I've watched through them all, and it's like, yeah, every season they have that Christmas special. They have that Hanukkah, the Thanksgiving, the Halloween. But it's like, this is supposed to take place over 10 years, and he was in high school for 5 seasons.
I mean, I think it weirdly works for that show, but only because it's in that weird, like, it is a story being told sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Kind of like How I Met Your Mother, where, like, there is, like, a narrator to this show telling the story about his, like, youth.
Yeah.
So it's one of those, it's like, okay, well, like, he is an unreliable narrator and doesn't remember exactly when things happened, which is why, like, I want to say, like, season 4, they had, like, a Back to the Future themed episode, which means it was 1985, but they did 6 more seasons since then.
Yeah, and every episode is 1980 something is what he says it's the summer of 1980 something. It's the winter of 1980 something. But it's like his sister now has a baby, and it's like all right, over the course of 10 years, yeah, sure, now now she can have a baby, but like, if you're gonna sit here and tell me that he's an unreliable narrator and telling me the Christmas story from before his sister had a baby, when his sister has a baby, it's just weird. But it's funny that they do that every season. It's like,
look, man,
work.
He may have dementia. Don't make fun of him.
He recorded everything on film. There's no way he would forget this stuff.
That's not how dementia works.
Well, no, but have you ever watched the show?
I've only seen a couple of episodes here and there.
In the early seasons, like when they were still going off of like his actual sort of life story, in the early seasons, like they would show during or post credits the actual video that he filmed of his family that episode was based off. So like a lot of the stuff that they did was was recreation, obviously, of what they had recordings of, like video recordings of, because Adam Goldberg recorded everything in his, which is why he was able to do the show and get the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I didn't realize that, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's mostly based on his life, except he didn't have a sister. He only had a brother. I don't think he had 2 brothers. I think he only had 1, who actually is a doctor for, I believe, the 76ers. So they had to add in this sister just to add, like, I guess diversity to the cast or whatever. And like, maybe he had, I think he actually has 2 brothers. So they turned one of his brothers into his sister or something like that. I don't know. It was weird, but that's a great show. It's such a great show. Even with removing Jeff Garlin, it's still a freaking great show.
Yeah, Erica watches it, but is that a show?
I think that's a show.
All right. Well, in that case, next week we will have our next book club, which is going to be Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Hooray for that.
Let's do it.
But other than that, if you would like to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest as I knock things off my desk. If you can't support us at $8, though, you can go to your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, all the places. Rate us, review us, subscribe to us. All those things help a whole bunch. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline or at @1_quest on Instagram and Twitter. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo. And you can always send us emails to social@one-quest.com. But other than that, thanks for listening. Actually, Rich, what's your stream look like?
Come check me out, twitch.tv/b_walnuts. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. I was going to say Wednesday, but this isn't going up till Thursday, so it doesn't really matter. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday for video game streaming of all sorts. I didn't post a schedule up this week, so probably most likely on Thursday I'll be playing Sifu, but we'll see. Well, depends on how I feel about what games I'm playing.
Fair. But yeah, other than that, we will be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.